Hi guys, welcome to earnings season. I'm Randy Rowe at RT Rowe.
And I'm H&I. I'm Dana at H&I.
And this week we have a wonderful guest, the one and only Kalilah. Kalilah, I always call you Enriquez, and your full name is Kalilah Enriquez Reynolds.
I don't use the Enriquez, you know.
I don't know. I am doing it because I'm
I only put it in
old.
there for people who remember me as Enriquez.
That's why because I know you from Hype TV, so it's always Kalilah Enriquez.
From Hype
in my
TV?
mind. Hype TV.
Oh
Sorry,
my
I
God.
aged you
Like
early.
you know me from way back then.
Way
He's a
back,
proper
yeah.
funding.
I just knew her. She was on Hype TV. Well, Hype TV was one of the first channels.
You were involved with Hype TV or you
No, I
worked there?
just knew it from TV.
Oh, you actually worked
Yeah,
there?
and that was like one of my first jobs in Jamaica. And
Hype
my
TV was
second job here.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's just what I know you from. Hype TV was the first thing of its kind. It was
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like
no.
dancehall TV without being truly.
I was more thinking
dancehall
about the
TV.
generation difference between you and I now.
And you know what's
watching,
funny?
you know?
That has come full circle because with the work I've been doing now, I've been using Johan, who's the owner of Hype TV,
Hype TV.
Johan Dawes, to do my video
Production.
work.
He was at the launch, right?
He was at the launch, yeah.
Or maybe get him up, yeah.
It's so funny because I went through a little struggle when I was just starting. I had just gotten a contract with Exim to do Money Moves, and I was at another company, and they were doing the production. So that's part of the reason that was able to happen. And then that company kind of went through some management issues and
Changes,
structural changes that I don't want to get into, but it left me without a production team and studio. And I happened to run into Johan like right when I needed a studio the next day. I'm like, fate. Like,
Fate worked.
yeah, it just came together. I've been working with him since.
Oh, congrats to Johan. Is he on anything social? I like to big up people proper if they're on social media.
I know he's Hype TV. I'm not sure what the Twitter handle is, but he's
Okay.
always retweeting my stuff.
So he's probably Hype TV on
Yeah.
Twitter. So big up Hype TV on Twitter. I should redo what I should have just done properly. So let me introduce my guest, Kalilah Reynolds of, I don't know what to say you're of, Kalilah. What should I say you're of? Because you have Money Mondays. You have, obviously all the time, he's on the radio every morning on Nationwide. What's his segment called? You have multiple segments.
Nationwide this morning.
Nationwide this morning. So,
That's that's the show that I do every day, Monday to Friday, 6 to 8:30 a.m.
That's
and
right,
I'm
get
the
it
business
out.
editor at Nationwide as well.
all right. But you see, so that's so funny because I don't listen to the radio.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm but I like radio. I don't want to say I'm young, because I guess I am young, but I know you. So when I think of you, I think of segments. I think of Kalilah from Money Mondays,
Ah, yeah,
or
I think of
Kalilah
Kalilah
from Taking Stock.
If it's business related reporting, then I think of Kalilah. Beyond that, I didn't know what you did. What's it called? On the Monday to Friday.
Nationwide this morning.
Yeah, so Nationwide this morning.
We talk about the diverse array
A
of
whole heap of
things.
stuff, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
even
Politics, social issues, crime, and business,
Also,
everything.
that's why people at you and other stuff that are not business related.
All the
time.
All right.
All the time.
Yeah, says, and then people going along to you go and say whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do post what's on my mind.
So
on
again, that's the
social
next thing I was
media.
going to say. That when I think of you, I think of what's on my mind. It's so
Yeah.
funny how the new digital ages, I literally don't think of you as being radio. I think of those things as individual. Like I think Kalilah, what's on my mind. To me, that's a show. Because
Yeah.
and I always listen
That's a
to radio.
segment on radio. So
But
all I
to-
do is I just take my phone
And you do it
I
while
just
you're recording.
record my radio segment.
Yeah, that's proper content, you know. Because in my mind,
Yeah.
I think what's on my mind for Kalilah. But that's like when you
Because
speak
you'll
about
see me
current affairs.
with the headphones and in front of a mic like this. It's in the radio studio.
Yeah, you've gone way ahead of everybody else. You launch out the online content before
Yeah.
anybody else can do it. That's smart. I like that. So let me jump back. I like to start off with people's personal lives so we can get it out of the way early. Tell us about yourself, Kalilah. We recorded the episode of Taking Stock that I was on, and then it was like a few days before you had the launch. At the launch, I was like, "There's no way she was that pregnant." But I saw her like 3 days before. Literally, I was so surprised. I was like, "There's no way," because I think about it now. You were sitting behind the desk.
And it depends on what I wear too. So the dress that I had on for the launch was like
Oh, it's like a
tight fitting,
gown and
yeah.
flowing,
So it really
yeah.
shows everything. What did I have? I don't remember what I had on for our episode, but it wasn't as obvious.
I was surprised. I was like, "Did she get like more pregnant in 3 days?" It's like they're twins or something. I don't get it. Well, that's good. Congrats on the pregnancy.
Thank you.
Which is always, I don't know if you say congrats or say congrats that you have continued, I think, something that I think is a big deal locally, people don't talk about.
Continued
you put
what?
out continued putting out heavy content,
Yeah.
and it hasn't slowed you down in my. If anything, you sped up because you launched a show
Yeah.
in the midst
well,
of
it did slow me down. Remember, we had this conversation.
True, but
Remember?
you and I
Because-
have had a conversation privately, but in terms of
Right.
looking on, it's just more and more and more and more
Right.
content. You're still there. I don't use IG much. When I check IG, still there, seeing what's on my mind. Still doing the Money Mondays every day.
And a new show, Taking Stock.
And but that's
which
what I
is
was going to say.
a lot
And-
of work.
Okay, I
which
know.
is like a full-time job on its own.
Oh my lord!
Well, with all the things I do on social media, it's like a full-time job and then some.
you need a second. You need an assistant.
I have an assistant who I'm training.
Okay, so then that's
well,
also another job.
I know this baby's coming in February, so she needs to know to produce this whole show from top to bottom by the time I go off.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Good luck to you.
And it's, when you're training somebody, it's like doing double work.
Yes.
You have to do it.
That's an entire
It would
job to train them, yeah.
It would be much faster if I just do it myself. But if I do it myself, then she never learns and I have to do it myself forever. So I'm teaching her segment by segment how to produce the show and what my standards are.
Yeah.
So that by February, she can do it all.
The break. I like that. That's the leaning in, Kalilah. Yeah, the corporate, the new
Yeah.
corporate. No, I'm not. I'm impressed by it because it's literally just you and Kimala I've ever seen do it. Kimala did the same thing. Big up Kimala for that. When Kimala was pregnant before lab launch, but I mean, her child is a little over 1 now, or going 2. So I saw her working heavy as CEO of lab, working every day, and she was pregnant the same way, and no slowdown.
There are many, many women who do it, Randy.
No, I don't doubt that. I'm about to die online.
That-
Because it's not that a lot of women don't do it, but
Many.
I'm used to seeing a certain sort of just natural. It's not like it's a bad thing. It's just a natural sort of slow down and okay, I need to assess it. I'm not used to seeing almost a speeding up. That's what I'm seeing. Because if you look externally, you launch an entire show, and she's trying to show is really hard. Like, I know this podcast is difficult, but it's not really difficult because we have Bam, big up Bam. But and when you go to the set, like, I got there late. I don't think you guys even knew because she had already taped like 3 or 4 other segments. The entire crew working. Big up you. Men could not be pregnant because I couldn't do what she like. I could not do it.
Like, my assistant is a little bit overwhelmed right now because it's a very steep learning curve. When she realized because she's somebody who I work with in radio, but she's never done TV. So I'm showing her the ropes of what all goes into TV, that you have to always be thinking of what's going to be on screen while you hear somebody. So we're here now, we're talking, and we also have to think about what will accompany this voice. Will I always be on camera? Will I be showing footage? Well, what's gonna come? And that in itself is a whole nother thing
It's like
in
directing.
TV production.
Directing while you're actually presenting, so you have to be thinking ahead. That's rough. Wow.
Like when you're the actor directing the own movie, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, let me dial back like I tried to before. Let me dial back and go as early in life. So you
jumped
started,
the gun, bro.
Yeah, we mentioned starting at Hype TV. How did your journey start in media?
All right. Actually, I'm from Belize. And that's where I grew up. And I wanted to be, when I was young, I wanted to be a writer, like a big novelist, right? And write the next big piece of creative fiction. And, that's what I wanted to do. And as a child, everybody always said, you'll never make any money being a writer. You'll never be profitable. How are you going to sustain yourself in Belize, of all places?
As a
being
writer.
We have one internationally known novelist, Z. Edgel, out of Belize. She now lives in the States.
I mean, there's no reason you can't be the next
She
one.
wrote Becca Lamb, which some of you may have
I know Becca
read
Lamb.
in
Yeah.
high school.
I think we all read. Yeah, Becca Lamb.
Yeah. But apart from her, there's no major well-known Belizean novelist. So people were just, it's kind of dream crushing, but it's also practical, So I started thinking about, well, how am I going to be able to make money writing? And I came up with journalism because I also have an interest. I've always had an interest in current affairs, politics, and so on. I grew up in a trade union household. My dad was a trade union leader, president of the Public Service Union. My mom is also involved in her union, teachers union, veteran educator. And so I've always had that social consciousness. I grew up around that. And so I'd listen to talk shows, watch the news, and have an interest in it. So I said, okay, let's marry these two interests, politics and current affairs and writing. I'm going to get paid to write stuff about politics,
Yeah.
So I studied towards that, did my bachelor's at Fordham University in New York, which was different because it really forced you. I grew up at CXC and A levels standard. When I was doing A levels, you used to get points for every big word that you use, vocabulary points, because they're trying to build your vocabulary.
Yeah.
You need to write in a certain type of structure, a certain type of way. I went to journalism school, and you have to unlearn all of that.
Start all over APA format.
You really have to unlearn. No, not APA. You
What
have
is
to.
it?
The essence of journalism is communication, is making it simple to understand. So you see where I'm going with this now? Making it simple. So I had to unlearn all these structures, all these big words, all these however and therefore and hitherto for whatever, unlearn all of that structure in journalism school. It's like starting to write from scratch again. And my professor, Professor Hall, had this, he used to make us use this thing called readability statistics. It's in Microsoft Word. And you'd have to put your story through readability statistics. And readability statistics tells you what grade level can read your work.
Yeah, I know. I do that for when I write. Yeah.
And so it goes from grade 1 to grade 12, American grade system.
Yeah.
And every time you'd put it in, you'd get like grade 12 or higher, like the entire class. I always said, this is impossible. Like, how do you, and he wants us to submit something that a grade 6 level can read. I'm like, oh my God, this is impossible. But bit by bit, after learning the principles, you start to realize, okay, the trick is short sentences, small words, shorter paragraphs. And you start getting the flow of it and learning how to communicate in a much simpler way. And so that was my foundation in learning to write for journalism, learning to write for a broader audience so that anybody on the street listening can understand. And then I've also done training for journalists as well over the years, and I pick up a lot of things. I've been in this industry now almost 20 years.
Nice.
Could you believe it? Because I started in basically high school. I started high school newspaper when I was in high school, in like third or in fourth form, I think.
In Belize.
Yeah, in Belize.
Which high school?
Belmopan Comprehensive School. I'm from
Belmopan
Belmopan.
Comprehensive. You're from where?
Belmopan.
Belmopan.
So Belmopan Comprehensive School. Yeah. And I went to St. John's sixth form. And then Fordham. And then eventually my studies brought me here. Came to UA to do my master's in communications as well. And ended up being recruited for work right around the same time I met my to-be husband. So there are many reasons to stay. There's professional and personal reasons to stay.
So it's a personal boy. Big up Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah. Dr. Reynolds.
Dr. Reynolds. boy, every day that man must hate me. You're lying.
No, actually, few people, if you don't know him personally, you wouldn't know.
That's
He
it,
doesn't
okay.
make a big deal of it.
She's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know him?
No.
He doesn't, like, some people make a big deal if you miss off the doctor.
The doctor, yeah. Some people
He doesn't
do, yeah.
make a big deal. As a matter of fact, most people know him as a photographer or from sports.
So he literally doesn't talk about.
He doesn't really, unless you know him from that field.
Oh, that's. I mean,
Yeah.
I rate
But I
that. No,
just know him
definitely
as-
big up Dr. Reynolds. Then.
Yeah. But I just know him as Richie. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so that was in 2008 that I came here.
Okay,
So
and that's when
I've-
he moved to. That's the Hype TV move, or that's before Hype
I think
TV.
I went to Hype TV 2009
Okay.
because I started at, my first job was at RETV, which lasted
That's where I know her from.
3 months. I was a producer at
I
RETV.
guess I'm wrong then.
I was a producer at RETV. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but it was a foot in the door. And at the 3-month mark, that's your probationary period. And they said they were going to keep me on probation. I was like, what? You got to keep me on probation? And everybody's been praising my work up to now. And they said they're going to keep me on probation. And your probation meant half salary. And
Yeah, that's a
I
Jamaican
literally
trick.
could not afford to work for another 3 months on half salary.
Yeah.
Because it was the summer that was coming up. I was doing my master's at UA still. And so scholarship money doesn't cover summer. So summer I need to sustain myself. And summer, this was in June. This was the day Michael Jackson died. June 25th, I believe,
Wow.
Yeah, it's the day Michael Jackson
You hear the
died.
journalist because Google will tell me I don't know.
That's why I remember, because
09,
I
08 or
remember
09.
posting it on Facebook, like
Ah.
some like big announcement. Oh, I quit my job, and it just got
Nobody-
lost.
yeah.
And Michael Jackson died. Like no comments, no likes,
No one
no
is paying
nothing.
attention to it. Oh my God. Well, I say you quit. So what did you
So
go
I
into?
quit, and I had met Johan before when I was like shopping around my resume and stuff, and I gave him a call, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness, yeah, cool, come through." And so I started as a presenter at Hype TV, and that's how I managed to sustain myself that summer. And then a few months later, ended up at CVM TV. So I worked at CVM for a couple of years, and then moved on to Scene TV, which was brand new, which is a subsidiary of Sportsmax, the sister company to Sportsmax. But Scene is a Caribbean-based, so they broadcasted that to the diaspora. You don't see Scene in Jamaica, although they record here and
You see
everything
in
is
Florida, New York.
right.
Yeah.
Right. They broadcasted diaspora, so it's that Scene for a while, and then Cliff Hughes recruited me because he had some type of contract with Scene where he was, I guess, kind of overseeing, since it was a new station. And so he saw me there, and he recruited me for Nationwide. I've been at Nationwide since, so 6 years now. I've been at Nationwide.
Like it? Love it?
I love it. It's the longest job I've ever had.
A big Cliff Hughes.
Usually when I reach the 2-year mark, it's like, oh, time to move on. I get antsy. You know, this new generation, we don't work at one place forever anymore.
not for very long.
40-year career. No,
Yeah.
before this, it's 2 years out.
Yeah.
And I'm here 6 years now, so
Nationwide seems to be pulling.
Doing
Cliff
something
Hughes-
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cliff
I
Hughes
do
seems to
like
be
it
able
a
to
lot.
pull talent in a weird way in the industry, because it's literally pure stellar people that you see.
and he's great at developing talent, at identifying it, nurturing it, developing it.
That is true.
And yeah, he's really good at that. I give him mad props for that, because he saw something in me when I wasn't there yet. When I first started at Nationwide, listeners, they're very, very, very critical. It's a tough place to work.
I
It's
can
a
imagine.
sink or swim type of place to work.
I can imagine.
The
It's kind of
reporters are very competitive. Shout out to Abka
place.
Fitzhenley.
Shout out to Abka. the most cutthroat reporter this side of anywhere.
Yeah, it's a very competitive environment to work. George Davis, talking Dennis Brooks, talking lots of big names have come through Nationwide.
Yeah, that's
And and the listeners, if the minute you make a mistake, they call. They call and correct you. And you just have to take it. So it's a very demanding place, but it's been my most rewarding job
so far.
up until taking stock. Because
Oh,
taking stock is like a new career trajectory now.
Well, I like that segue. So we got life. You've naturally moved through your professional life and into taking stock. I would say, where do you start? Because that's not really starting in the financial space. You were doing, well, I think maybe the biggest. Well, you can tell me what's the biggest thing you've done before taking stock in the business? Because I know Money Mondays.
Independently, you mean? Or
Independent or either. Because to me, I really am coming at you as a fan. So you're just, to me, a trusted voice.
Yeah.
So when I hear Money Mondays and you say something on Money Mondays, it's like I hear it on the business news. You're like,
yeah.
I think you know who will really big up every episode. I was going to say Oral Trace, but it's not Oral Trace.
Owen James.
It's Owen James. So you're like Owen James, but
I should show you a message that Owen James sent me, but that's not for air.
Yeah.
That's not for broadcast.
well, you're like Owen James, except like
It's
you're
more broken though. You
yeah.
get more actual info.
Exactly.
What's happening in the market.
Remind me
What's happening with the
remind me
companies.
after the podcast.
To say?
Yeah.
To say.
Yeah. This is a good one.
So to me, you're a trusted voice. You're like the business news, but not in the old business news way.
Yeah.
And then again, as I said, I interact with you via IG. So when I go in IG, you see it. So you've literally taken what was an older lane on radio, TV, so on the business space, and you brought it to
a
the
newer
space where
space.
everybody
Yeah.
is. the
Which is
newer
right.
But
space.
before
Yeah.
this, probably what I was most known for was coverage of Dodos
2010.
2010.
I can almost hear the voice, to be honest.
2010.
Wow.
People
Were you in Spanish Town?
people remember me from Dodos covering Tivoli. I was on Spanish Town Road.
Okay.
You remembering now?
remember
Remembering
the
it
voice.
now?
Whoa.
I was on Spanish Town Road and I was doing a live link and gunshots started firing.
And you started to duck.
No, I didn't duck.
Your
This is why
cameraman
people.
got the actual gunman on
This is why
camera?
people remember me, because the day before Nadine McLeod was downtown, TVJ, I was at CVM. The day before Nadine McLeod was downtown and gunshots started firing and she ran, and this was caught on camera and they used it in the footage. So she told the cameraman, get in the car. So I remember watching that and thinking, my God, if this happens to me, just be calm, finish your sentence, and then get out of there. You don't want to do what I'm big up to Nadine, it's my friend still. But if you're not mentally prepared, I had a chance to be mentally prepared for that eventuality.
Okay.
So I was on Spanish Town Road, and we're covering the incursion. The military is there, they're going in, and shots are firing. And a lady got shot like right next to me, like right where that black chair is
God, yeah,
to
that's
where
why
I
it's
am.
frightening when it happens.
And she got shot in her side.
You realize how quickly it happens. If somebody just
And-
go, you're like, what happened? Yeah.
And I'm standing there in my bulletproof vest, and I was doing a live link. It was around midday, and it was probably for the midday news. She got shot, and there's gunshots firing. And I just said, and there you go again, another barrage of gunshots. And then I just wrapped up my thing and just calmly left. And then people were like, my God, you said a reporter there. She bravey.
And this is who reports on business to us.
And ever since then, like people, to this day, people remember me for that.
For being that calm under pressure. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry. Then I live in Spain. So to us, that's a very real thing.
I'll show you the video. It's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, definitely send me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely putting that in the show notes.
Yeah.
So
You'll see, like, I flinch a little bit. Like, I just kind of jumped slightly, my eyes open, and then I just finished my thought and wrapped it up.
Oh, that's good. People check the show notes right now. If you don't see a link to the video, you're at me. Oh, wow. So you came from that and you went into the business. You should be a walk in the park for you then.
Not necessarily, because the business news that we're all used to, that we know, is just kind of up there on a intellectual, like you have to be into finance to really understand it. And that's the challenge that I identified. Now, how I ended up doing business news is because nobody else at my work ever wanted to do it. Business and most economics news. I started reporting on the economy before business. So anytime it's like budget time, nobody wants to do budget stories because
boring.
You ever seen the budget book?
Yes.
It's a book like this. It's like thicker than a phone book.
Yep.
At least phone book thick.
Yep.
A big yellow book. Full of numbers. It's like barely any words in it. It's just numbers. A phone book size book with numbers. And I love numbers. Grade 1 in CXC in third form.
Really?
Yeah. Then again, our school system is different. So third form is really fourth form here. But
That's still good.
I've always loved math. I've been good at math. So taking number stories and translating them into, actual stories that people can understand. I like that challenge. So people always at my work, budget stuff, anything numbers related, give Kalilah. Make sure do it. Because many journalists get into journalism because they hate math.
Yeah, they
like English.
That's true.
So that's how I kind of started reporting on numbers related things, which tend to be economics news, and then started getting into the business side of things as well over time.
I like that. It's a natural progression, but you do a really, really good job of it. I say so myself.
And then my training came in from Fordham.
Yep.
Making
I was
stuff
thinking about it the whole
easy.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm trying to write this story, but I don't understand the story. And when I do training, one of my key principles that I'd have the students repeat is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because if you don't understand what's going on, how are you going to make other people understand?
Yo, say that again, Kalilah. Say that again, Kalilah. Just say that one more time.
God, please.
Say that one more
Okay.
time.
Repeat after me, class. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yup.
Yes.
If you don't understand it, you can't teach somebody else. You can't report on it. And when you're reporting, you're teaching the nation. You cannot report on something that you yourself don't understand.
Lord.
And so a lot of times when it comes to business news and economics news, the reporters don't have a clue.
Yes.
Myself included now I do. Yeah, but when I was starting, I didn't understand this stuff. And so what most reporters do is just copy and paste the press release.
Read it straight.
And you just read it right back the way how they sent it to you. You don't understand it. Your listeners, your viewers, your readers don't understand it.
Yeah, or
And
some
that's,
do. And then the some that do might be angry because it says the wrong thing, right? Or it says something
And the
off.
some that do is a few. But our job is to communicate to the masses,
masses, yep.
to let majority of people know.
Yep.
And so I felt like it's been a disservice, especially in this particular economics and business news. We've been doing a disservice to the public. But when I'm writing a story, if I don't understand, I'm going to take the time to understand before I write my story, which might mean Google, Investopedia, Wikipedia, calling people who do know. I'm like, okay, I have resources. I'm a journalist. I have so-and-so's number. I can call up Dennis Chung, who's an accountant. Like, Dennis, what does this mean? And Dennis will explain it to me. I can call up business leaders and they will take my call because I'm Kalilah Reynolds from Nationwide. And they're going to take my call. I can call up Keith Duncan or Richard Biles when he was co-chairing Epoch.
I know he's the BOJ governor.
I know he's
so
the
that's a good
BOJ
number to
governor.
have.
And they would take the time to explain stuff to me. And once I understood it, then I can write my story. It takes extra time, but it's absolutely worth it. So in terms of going through, getting to understand it and then translating it into a style that's easy to understand and easy to follow. And that's how, I've been able to generate a following on social media. And I came up with the tagline, I make business and finance easy to understand.
Which is perfect. Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's essentially what my mission is. Just people do want the knowledge. It's not that, and I've known people who said, oh, when business news come on, that's when they change the channel because they know news done. Because this is not for me. And now they're tuning in, they're paying attention because now they have some of the knowledge they're able to understand.
What's going on
and they're
in the space.
interested because of what's going on the stock market. People are interested. When my thing really took off was after Wigton,
Yeah, when everybody jumped in, because you'll be one of the few people talking about Wigton, talking about stocks in a regular, understandable way.
Yeah, Wigton is when my thing really bust. My first episode of Money Mondays was about the budget. So I was more focused on the economic side.
Yeah.
So the first episode was about the budget because they had tax cuts and all kind of stuff
Yeah,
was
it was
going
the first
on.
time they had that sort of
A
tax
lot of
package.
stuff. Yeah, it was interesting to me. So I said, you know what? Let me just jump on IG, do a little video and explain what's going on. And I call it Money Mondays, which means I had to commit to every Monday after that. You call something Money Mondays, people expect something every Monday. But I'm that type of person. I have an idea. I do it. I don't like to hold on to ideas for too long. I'll just do it
Get
at
it
the
out
same
there.
time.
Yeah.
So I had the idea, and 5 minutes later, I was recording the video.
And because you call it Money Mondays, you locked in.
Yeah, and that was that. And so I kind of lost my train of thought now. But that's how I ended up doing business and finance news.
And making it simple, because it's not,
making
like you're
it
saying,
simple.
we started talking about like the complicated.
I was talking about Wigton.
Yes,
So
you're saying you
Wigton was
started
my
that
big
way.
boss.
Yeah.
They had 30,000 people buying into Wigton. And now they've bought into Wigton and they don't understand the stock market. I had somebody call me 9 o'clock one night, frantic. Kalilah, I hear Wigton is trading at -3 cents. I'm like, huh? Is that even possible?
It's not bad of
that
it,
means
people,
you
it's not.
owe the
Exactly.
company.
It's not possible. The lowest a stock can drop is 0.
I
and
don't
I've
know
never
that
seen
that's
happen
even
locally.
possible.
Can't do that.
-3 cents. And he was panicking because he had
that
money
make
in
one sense.
Wigton. I said, I have my suspicions what happened, but let me check the JSE app. And sure enough, Wigton had lost 3 cents that
cents,
day.
yeah.
And he thought, he said
Negative
-3 in red. He thought that was the price. And so I had to keep putting out information and, letting people understand. You have all these new investors who they don't really know what's going on. There's this select fund dropping like, oh my God, I'm scared.
Dumping.
This is my first investment. I don't know. And so you just have to try help people out. And it's been a learning curve for me too, because I haven't even been investing that long. It's only been like 2 years since me and my husband started investing.
It's a good amount of time to start.
It's only been about a couple of years, and it was for the same reason that I heard Jamaica had the best performing stock market in the world, and I'm here as a reporter reporting on this stuff, but then I'm not taking advantage of it, partly because I didn't fully understand the stock market. I didn't really understand it at all. It's just reporting numbers, but it meant nothing to me personally. Copy and paste in the press release like everybody else. And then we started getting into it. And I said, but if I don't understand, I have a master's degree. Most people don't understand.
That's
so
true.
I use myself as the first test, even though I'm more educated than the masses. I still use if I can't understand, chances are
Most people
Yeah.
don't
90% of people
Yep.
don't understand.
Yep.
So anything I read, I don't understand it. I say, let's make a good money Mondays.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true. More than 90% of the people don't
Yeah,
understand. Yeah,
this
much more.
this would make a good topic to talk about, to break it down, and that's how I started doing that.
Yeah, I like that. Kalilah does a lot of the same stuff. So I started every Mickle off the very same thing. I wanted people, just naturally. People, I'm always explaining things to people. People are always asking me. I guess I always knew about it because I did pay attention to Owen James and I wanted to know what he was talking about. Right? So I understood it, but I didn't know that people didn't understand it. And it's the exact same thing. I started writing just because, why can't I keep explaining to people? So if I write it somewhere, I can just say, hey, this link I'll send you. And then they'll read it. And I find out why most people don't like to read. So, no, which is why it's even greater because
Yep.
when I hear what you do, I'm like, it's like she's saying what I used to type, which is even better. It's much easier on IG.
It's a better thing to
Yeah,
say.
nobody reads a book. Everybody check them IG, right? So that to me is amazing because you're probably the only person, I don't want to sound like a toot in my own horn, but literally, other than me, you're the only person I know who is bringing finance to the masses in a way that the masses
Can understand
and appreciate.
consistently.
Yeah,
You know, I was
yeah.
thinking about it
Consistently,
earlier.
because there are people who've done a couple of things here
Yeah.
and there, but you're not consistent, and that's another challenge.
It's about
keeping
the approach,
consistency.
the consistency and the approach. When I hear how you speak about how you approach it with the want to understand it, and then you use what you learn in journalism to simplify it and bring
Right.
literally. People don't get it. I complain all the time that we alienate people in how we speak in finance and how general finance speaks is alienating. And the people in finance don't seem to know
Yeah.
or care. Yeah.
So if you watch Taking Stock, like whenever people start using the jargon,
Yeah.
Remember.
I'm like, okay, the last episode we taped, one of the panelists was talking about the NAV. So I have to say, okay, the net asset value. This is what that is, because not everybody understands what the NAV is. Most people don't understand what the NAV is.
Yeah. And you find that I've learned from this. Even if you say it one time, almost have to say it every single time because there's always somebody new.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. But I want to give props to you for being consistent with the podcast, because people don't realize what type of effort goes into it and what type of effort goes into maintaining consistency. To being if you dedicate, if you say you're gonna do this every week, or even if it's every month, not missing a month or not missing a week, that takes real dedication and effort. And so I have to big up my first sponsor, Proven Wealth,
Hey.
because Proven Wealth came on
Latin
very
boss.
early.
I'm
No.
sorry.
No, let me tell you why. Proven Wealth came on very early on Money Mondays. I had only done like maybe 3 episodes, and I pitched the idea to Belinda Williams at Proven
Approved at the
Wealth,
time, yeah.
and it was like an immediate yes. And let me tell you, having a sponsor has kept me consistent. Because you have to deliver.
Because
You
there's
can't
money
say,
on top of it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't just say, "Oh, I'm not gonna do this week.
Yeah.
I'm tired, or I want to go to a party, or whatever reason. I'm not gonna do it." You can't do that when you have a sponsor on board because they're expecting you to deliver.
That's right.
And you don't deliver, your credibility is shot.
That's right.
So the sponsorship has made a difference in keeping me consistent and in additional motivation.
I really like that. And I like tying the point in. So if you consistently put in something out there and the content that you're putting out there is great and the masses can understand it, that's literally just a easy recipe for success.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody I know knows it. And that IG push, you use IG as almost a forward. It's like it bears the brunt of breaking into people's minds because it's on IG. Everybody uses
Everybody
IG.
is scrolling.
Yeah. IG is easier than Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitter has a level of difficulty to it. Yeah. IG, it's fun. It's easy. You understand it.
It's my
right
favorite
there.
platform. I'm on IG all the time, so that's where I want to put my stuff.
It only makes sense. It only makes sense.
That's a good reason.
It sounds simple, but to me, like I can tell, simple doesn't mean easy.
Yeah.
I think that's
Not
what people.
necessarily, no. A
Simple
lot
People
of
don't
work
stop
goes
market
into
because
it.
it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
Exactly.
Because my most popular videos are the prospectus reviews.
Yeah.
And first of all, that
Actually, I love
requires
that,
reading
yeah.
the prospectus,
Yes. Yeah.
which are long.
Yeah.
But you take that burden off. Even my girlfriend asks me every time, "Tanya, how you sitting and read a prospectus?" And she gets frustrated when she gets a prospectus to read. She can listen to Kalilah.
But there's a lot of stuff in there that you can skip through. There's stuff that's repetitive.
True, but you have to
Stuff
read
that-
it and know it
No,
to know
yeah,
it.
you have to
Right?
know
Yeah.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I can't
I can
skip
skip through this
Yeah.
part and get to the
Yeah.
next part.
Yeah.
And
And then sometimes
then you have to make
Sometimes
your
something change.
notes.
sometimes there's stuff in that part that's always the same. Sometimes them say it differently.
Fontana, remember Fontana with the way they did the allotment, where they could exclude you if you had more than one account. That happened in Fontana, where if I had two accounts and applied to Fontana
Through both.
then they could choose which one of them they could allot the shares
Oh.
to. And every project it reads the same way. A little change in Fontana, and I let them do that, and people got blocked up because of it. And there's a lot of problems with people doing that. So.
So read the
And
full
other people
thing.
that skip
Yeah.
past
Darn it,
that,
man.
and then after the fact, they came and said, "Oh, Fontana do this," and I point and say, "I took a screenshot of that little part and say, see it there."
Damn it, man. No, I have to go.
No, you have to read the whole thing.
Read the whole 60
Oh, well, you know what?
pages.
You read the whole thing so that other
So
people
we don't have to.
I mean, we read the whole thing because the same pressure is also the social pressure. At this point, if Dan and I get it wrong,
Yeah.
it's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah.
And then the turnaround time, because sometimes they put out the prospectus today, and then they're opening the IPO in like 3 days from now, which puts pressure on us.
or 7. Yeah. You
Yeah.
get it, and it
'Cause now I
opens
have
within
to,
the week.
Now I have to read it, make notes, write my script, because everything I do is fully scripted.
Wow.
Monday
Yeah,
Mondays is a
yeah.
full script.
Yeah.
And then I have to record, which means as a woman I have to do makeup. I need to get proper lighting. I started out doing it on my phone, but I've been consistently improving the quality, which you probably would have noticed. So I have to do makeup, I have to organize all of that stuff within maybe 2 days to turn it around so that I can post it on Monday.
Yeah.
stressful.
Know how it
It's
is.
a lot.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Plus I have my full-time job, and I have a baby,
Yeah.
and I have a teen, a family.
People, you see, I was impressed earlier when I said that she's pregnant, and I'm impressed because the level of work and output that you're putting out, I know how hard it is. And she works every day
I wake up at 4:00 every morning
to be on the radio.
to be at work for 5 and on the radio at 6.
Yeah.
Better than me. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. I really respect
Then
that.
I'm at
Yeah,
my
definitely.
full-time job until 2 p.m. I pick up my teenager from school and whatever I can between then and 5. And then it's baby time to deal with the toddler at home.
I like that you make
And
that
then,
time.
when she goes to bed at 8, then I get to work on Money Mondays, taking stock, all that stuff, and in between.
So you just never stop working, basically.
Right?
The past couple months, especially with taking stock, has just been go, 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 go. It really has been. I remember when you and I were talking about when I had the idea months ago
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
taking stock. I had this great idea, and then, bam, I'm pregnant.
You just said it to me. And
I'm like, should I just wait until after this baby is born? I don't know. Because I lost, like, the first trimester of pregnancy is rough. That's when you have all the morning sickness, and I work in morning radio. So you have,
that's wow. You see the thing? You see what I'm talking about? I'm sorry. To me, it's impressive because
That's when
if
you
I
have
get
the
that flu,
morning-
everything's shut
you
down.
have the morning sickness. Your body is making a human. So you're tired. Like I was fatigued. Like I just wanted to sleep all day. You're exhausted. Like you feel sick. When I say sick and tired, you're literally sick and tired.
right.
And so there's even some mild depression, which a lot of women go through as well. And so I was like, I'm not going to do this again. I told Randy, I'll do it next year. And Randy's like, no, you should do it now.
It's a really good idea, launch.
Already pressuring
I'm
people.
like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then first trimester blues passed. I hit the 3-month mark and I started feeling better. And now I have energy again. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah, there we go. And look how it's worked out.
Yeah.
And a couple months later, I was able to launch the show.
Yeah, and the show has been amazing. People, if you haven't seen the show yet, I mean, hit the show notes. There's a link in there. Or go straight to YouTube right now, and it's Kalilah Ray's Taking Stock. Kalilah, I need to give you like a nice link that's easy. So you can say kalilahray.com/
It's youtube.com/Kalilah Ray.
There we go. YouTube.com.
All my social media is the same, Kalilah Ray, KALILAHREY. So Twitter, that's my handle. IG, that's my handle. Facebook is facebook.com/Kalilah Ray. YouTube.com/ yeah. It's all the same.
So that's good. You already said. So you have it. You've actually started investing. I like that though, because you'd be very surprised. Well, you'd have learned by now. I don't know if you've asked, but I suspect you'd see by now that not many people, even people who comment on the industry and in the industry, not many of them actually invest. So to hear you say that you have been investing 2 years, 2 years is good.
Yeah, let me tell you how we started. So me and Richie, Dr. Reynolds.
Dr. Reynolds.
Me and Richie got married 2015? Yeah, almost 4 years. 4 years ago. We got married in Belize. And so we asked friends and family, rather than giving us traditional wedding presents, just give us some money. Because we can't take all these things on the plane. We can't travel with it. So we got a nice little amount of money, a nice little nest egg. And we just had that there sitting in the bank for until 2 years ago. So for half that time, for about 2 years, just sitting in the bank.
Oh, Lord.
Because that's what you're taught. You grow up thinking you work hard and you save your money.
Some money put in the bank.
You work hard, you save your money. It's in the bank, so, and it's safe. It's safe there.
And you earn interest.
And quote unquote,
Quote-unquote
earn interest.
Yeah.
So we just had it there in the bank for those 2 years, and I'm reporting on these things about this best performing stock exchange and all this stuff that's going on, and IPOs and people making money hand over fist. And so I said to him, we should start investing. We should look into this thing. And around the same time, I guess he and his brethren were having the same kind of conversations. And, young people like us having the same types of talks saying, they're starting to invest as well. And so we were on the same page. And so an IPO was coming up. I'm not going to say which one.
Sorry, which year was it?
An IPO was coming up.
People trying to show us as if I figured out which year it was. An
IPO was coming up. There have been so many. So
that's all right.
Even if I said a year, you won't know which
probably
one.
know which one it is already based on the year.
An IPO is coming up, and I didn't read the prospectus. I just hear IPO.
2017. I know which one. Okay.
I just hear IPO, so we're gonna put our money
Jump
in this.
Yeah.
He read it. He said he did read it, and I guess he thought it was a good investment. I didn't read it. I just said IPO. Let's put some money in it. And it didn't do that well. It didn't lose money.
But it didn't fly.
Yeah.
It didn't not even take off. It just stayed flat.
Okay.
Wow.
It just stayed flat the entire. You probably figuring it out now.
Yeah, flat. Yeah, there are not that many that did that.
Yeah, it just.
But it didn't lose money. Yeah, there's
it
not
didn't,
many that did that.
It didn't lose money. It just stayed flat, and we were disappointed. And so after that first experience, I said, okay, I need to start reading these prospectuses and seeing.
But you didn't lose money, so that's good. You're way ahead of
It's a
people
good
already.
thing that we didn't.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we didn't lose money.
Yeah, right now, depending on when people hearing this, everybody who's in QWI is either going, boy, me too, or couldn't be me.
Yeah, so I said,
But it wasn't QWI people, by the way. She's not talking about QWI.
No, QWI is just a
it's
couple
just
months
recent,
ago.
yeah.
This was a couple of years ago. And so after that, I said, okay, we're going to start actually reading the stuff and paying more attention and following the business news more keenly. And so our next investment did very, very, very well.
2017. That's probably JetCon.
Look at you doing some
Yeah. We can't help it.
It wasn't JetCon.
It wasn't JetCon?
No, our next investment wasn't an IPO, but it still did well. It doubled. And then our third investment did extremely well.
That's nice. That's NCB.
Nope.
That's not NCB. You want to tell us which one it is?
It was Fontana.
It was Fontana. Oh, yeah. Everybody eat off that. So 6 or 8 times, I think. Fontana IPO that one.
It's
188.
188.
Yeah, so you did very, very well. Yeah. I
So
like
now,
that.
now we're really into it.
Yeah, nothing quite like getting that first one, That first one that blow up, and you go, wait, this is possible?
So now we're really into it. And Fontana was what, February? The February of last year?
Yeah, thereabouts. And it had, by like 3 months in,
I
it
think
would
it
have
was
gone.
February. And I had interviewed Kevin O'Brien Chang about it. At the time I was doing On Point for Business Access TV. And Dennis Chung was saying like, yeah, it's a good one. And everybody I was listening to was saying, yeah, it's a good one. So we did it. And we're very happy with that investment. And that's when I really, really started paying attention and saying, okay, I started feeling like I need to go tell it on the mountain. Like I need to be an evangelist for this thing because this is what is possible.
Yep.
Like if we can make this thing work, other people need to be doing this as well. But the barrier is most people don't understand it.
That's right.
And so I need to be like Moses and spread the word and talk the people's language.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it in Latin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Do it in a way that people can understand.
Can get it, and bring it down to them. Yeah. I like that. Have you gotten any pushback on that? Like I don't know how much, I don't want to personalize the journey, but like, so finance, the way they speak is also loved within the industry. So they frown on people who don't speak like that about financing, and you don't.
It's almost like, because you don't speak like them, you're not intelligent. Or
you're not.
It comes off that way.
Right,
All right, why are you talking like that?
Yeah. So I'm like,
I work in the industry.
even though you get it right, and you're saying the right thing, if you're not using the right words, oftentimes.
Occasionally, there'll be people who will, because I like to round numbers too, rather than saying specific. Because in radio, podcasting, broadcasting, you're not gonna say 5,756,000.
0.687.
You're just gonna round it to 6 million.
Yep.
Or like when I was doing the Wigton thing and I said $1,000, and somebody pointed out, it's actually $1,163
because you have to pay the GST fees. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm rounding it off.
Yeah, that sort of thing. That sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're already in media, so it's Kalilah from Nationwide. It's Kalilah from Business Access TV. So I guess maybe you come with that prestige and not going to necessarily argue with it.
I get it, but I don't pay much attention to it. Probably because I am in media and people will criticize, and I'm used to it.
Used to the visibility.
I'm used to criticism. Like I said, at Nationwide, the minute you get something wrong, they call. Wow. People will be quick to call, and I don't really trouble myself with criticism too much. I will listen. Like if you have a valid point, I might need to change something next time. But I don't really stress about it. Like I saw how you took that one personal the other day, Randy.
I threw in my feelings about some of these things. Yeah, I started leaving it alone.
And they didn't even at you. They were just,
you mean my privilege?
It was a general comment, and Randy take it personal.
Yeah, because I know better. I know.
What was the comment? You remember what the comment was, Danai?
Privilege. Randy being privileged, or was it the
people with privilege?
People under.
Encouraging people to get into the market need to understand that not everybody has to say. They burn me.
Everybody has to say.
It burned me.
I saw the same comment, and you know what my reaction was? I just rolled my eyes.
That's good. That's good.
Whatever.
I like that you're more mature. Yeah, I need the training because
when I said Randy, take it on.
Yeah, it hurt me bad, man. It hurt me bad because it really hurt me. Because that's literally what I do. Everything I do is geared around having people that don't have a lot of money get in. Because that's what I like to hear. It doesn't mean much to me if somebody have $10 million turn it into 20, right? As opposed to somebody have 10 grand turn it into 100 grand. I know how life changing that can be. So that's always where I've been focused.
Yeah, it's deeply gratifying doing what we do. And I get the messages in my DMs all the time. Yes. Kalilah, I opened my brokerage account today. I got my daughter start investing. It's deeply, deeply gratifying.
It really is. It really is. I was telling Danai earlier.
I saved them. Like I screenshot them and I saved them in a special folder.
Me too. I actually go back to them and look at it because I have people. Because I also did the workshops, the grower workshops. I was showing Danai like I did an advanced one just yesterday. I did my first advanced grower. So it would have been people who have gone to grower classes before. Only those people have been invited. And a very small group, I think about 20 people, not a lot. And spoke about like the journey, how far, and with more advanced things that we do, you getting into it. And I thought maybe it's not applicable to them or not, but when them start showing their portfolios, I won't say anybody's name, but like one girl showed me she's over $8 million.
Wow.
She started with $500,000 a
Wow.
year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
That to me means a whole lot more than maybe the earnings from NCB. Not that those aren't impressive, but you know, more money makes money naturally. But when you have a little bit of money and you get a little bit more, that's so impressive to me. So to hear comments against that always pisses me off. But they're not too sensitive. I need to adopt more of what you have done. Yeah.
When you get more seasoned in this industry as a podcaster,
Yes.
you learn to let it roll.
I think so, yeah. Because the criticism do come. And what's nice is that, like you said, a lot of praise does come also. Yeah. And the praise really is good. I like that you're evangelizing. You're right. Because I know that feeling. You're talking to my soul. Like when you see it and I'm thinking, yo, I shouldn't be the only one doing this.
Yeah.
Because you can, you know. You can literally do exactly what she did. Make your money. You husband make the money by yourself. And, this is working. Let's just keep doing it. But again,
I feel like other people need to know.
exactly. That
And they need to know that you don't have to be rich to do it.
Exactly.
This is how you get rich.
Yes.
People always like after the fact that you get rich, and then they assume that say you had it the whole time.
Yeah. I'm not rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet.
But we're gonna get there.
Yes.
But I feel like I'd unlocked the key to adulthood, the key to adulting, the key to life. Because before we started investing, it's just you just work for money. You just work, you work. And between my husband and I, and I've been saying he's a medical doctor, he's a surgeon. I've been working 2 jobs. He's a surgeon,
So,
doing surgeon work. So I have lots of work.
Yeah.
And we both earn decent salaries. But between the two of us, when we calculate a mortgage for a house,
Still we
it's still not really making it, you know?
Yeah.
And you still is all, I wouldn't say hand to mouth because we're still doing better than most people. But the type of house that we would want to live in, we wouldn't be able to afford. The type of house that we currently live in now, that we rent, that we've been renting for the past 10 years, you know, and we're still, our landlord hadn't raised the rent that much over the past 10 years.
Edit that
We've been fortunate.
It's a good landlord. Big up the landlord.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But what we would pay for that house if we were trying to move somewhere else, it would be way, way more. And so we can't afford to move out of that house.
Yeah, housing costs are
basically.
crazy. Nobody talks about the reality of that. But
We can't afford to move out of that
yeah.
house. And our mortgage would be more than twice what we pay in rent.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense for us right now. And you don't want to move out and you don't want to lower your standard of living just to say you own a house.
Preach again.
We're
I
not
can tell she's not Jamaican. You know. You're very you're like Jamaican adopted, but I can tell at the core we have this buy a house thing at our core where people will, I know people will break themselves.
Our family is expanding. We need more space, not less. We're not gonna go move into a 2-bedroom with
pay
3 kids and paying more, less space, just to say that we own the house. That
And you
doesn't
don't
make
really
sense.
own the house.
I don't really own the house until another 30, 35 years.
Exactly.
No, we're not gonna do that. So between a medical doctor and a well-known journalist who's working 2 jobs, and we can't afford the standard that we would like to, which is a middle class standard. We live in a townhouse.
You can't say middle class these days, Kalilah. We can't
it's not in its palace.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
Oh, the lattes.
The latte boss.
Lattes.
Big up, random big up to Chris Williams. Big up ECL also.
I like your Twitter handle, by the way. It's not too latte to apologize.
I love the entire thing. I thought it was fun from top to bottom. I don't know if people got hurt by it.
Usual.
Yeah, but I'm saying we just want to maintain the standard of living that we have now.
Yeah,
and between the two of us, like it's to own a house on our salaries, it wouldn't have made sense. It wasn't possible. But once we started investing and we started seeing the returns,
there we go.
We're like, oh, so this is how people do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yo, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear somebody else.
Wait, you know the joke?
It's not necessarily just working the 9 to 5. It's or breaking your back, getting a second and third job. No, there's another way.
Other people don't do it that way. And they say they break them back to get the house. You're doing it the right way. You make the money, and then make the money make some money, and then you go do it. You do what you want to do with the money.
Yeah, because I've been wondering, like, how people do it.
Yeah, and nobody talks about it. Even now, at the point where we've brought it, I have to think about how we thought that night, you and I. we still don't really talk about some of the very real things because just even culture, it's on culture to really talk about money. Yeah. Like, as heard what you were saying earlier, saying that, you know, like, I'm not rich yet. You're not rich yet. I thought to think, yeah, I agree with you. And because I said the same thing about myself too. But I don't have any kids or wife or anything. And I've made a nice little change, and I honestly think I'm not rich yet. So I have to start thinking, at what point am I actually rich? Because it's a mindset, you know. Because you're really doing the right thing. Think about it. You got if you bought Fontana at least at IPO, let's assume you put 100, not even 100, let's assume you put 1,000 Jamaican dollars in there. You know what I've gotten, what, 8,000-9,000 Jamaican dollars off it, right? So whatever you put in there is 8 times that money in not 3 years. It hasn't been 3 years yet. That to me is not, when I think of that, like I think of what happens if a company makes an investment and within the financial year that they made the investment triples. That company I consider to be impressive. Yeah. But if you do it as a regular person, I think, oh, not rich yet. Now, I'm not saying that you're rich. I'm not saying I'm rich either. Yeah. But I think that there is still more. You're proving how much more of the journey has to be explained because we really are changing how people think. Yeah.
Like we see how much we made off of, for example, Fontana or whatever. I start seeing, okay, home ownership is in sight.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is how you can afford. It's almost the only way to afford it if you don't have it before.
You say, okay, these particular goals that we have. My daughter is in 6th form and she wants to study in the United States.
She can't less than mommy. Well, your mommy went to Fordham.
I got a full scholarship. So I don't know how we're going to pay for it. If she's going to get a scholarship too, I'll have her doing SAT classes. Hopefully she does get one. But there's still living expenses. There's still a lot to pay for. And that's going to, she's in lower 6. So we have like a year and a half
to plan.
To figure out how we're going to pay for that. It's like, oh, this is how people, okay.
You know what? That's a good question for the session. How long you say you have? Before ideally she'd have to go a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 year. 2 year question.
A little bit less than 2 years. So we have goals and we're finally starting to figure out, okay, this is the key. It's not necessarily about breaking your back, working extra. And then I'm talking about, we started with stocks and then the goal is to use some of that money to go into real estate, buy a house. And then I'm now launching the business.
Yes. Tell us about the business.
3 keys to wealth creation.
Oh, you've been speaking to Mr. Legion. You're speaking to Uncle Mikey.
I read a lot too.
I like that.
Audiobooks.
Okay.
I do audiobooks a lot because I don't have as much time to read anymore. But driving in Kingston traffic can take you an hour and change.
Yep.
The audiobooks, the podcasts. So 3 keys: stock market, investing, real estate, entrepreneurship. So I've started the stock market. Next goal is real estate. But then the entrepreneurship is coming before the real estate because that's starting now too.
And they'll feed each other.
And they feed each other. So launching Kalilah Reynolds Media.
That's all we need to talk about. Yeah, and that's all I want to hear. Have you said that anywhere else before, publicly?
Well, I have my logo on everything that says Kalilah Reynolds Media.
True, but you know people are until you throw it out. I really look at an excuse to say you heard it here first.
Breaking news.
So it's kind of out there, and I'm working on the whole process of getting the company formalized and registering and all of that. And so that's where I'm going now. And being executive producer of Taking Stock is a whole thing, which is got to big up Cliff Hughes too, because he's been my media mentor for the past 5-6 years. But I also greatly respect what he has done, making that transition from journalist to businessman, launching Nationwide News Network. How long has Nationwide been on now? Like 13 years?
Yeah, because I remember
because he started out as a young journalist too. He started out as at JBC, then RJR, who was the youngest news editor at the time. Then he launched his own show on Power.
An amazing show. I have to say that myself. Big up Cliff Hughes for that, because I was a young board, I guess I was in high school then when he was doing it. And that's how I started paying attention to politics and the economy.
Launched his own show and then eventually his own media house, Nationwide News Network. And that's not an easy transition to make.
At all.
It's a completely different ball game. And so now around the office, I feel like I see him giving me some weird looks. I don't know if it's just my mind.
He probably just sees you on the same journey.
But he's told, like, when I came to him, because Taking Stock airs on Nationwide as well. And I told him the idea and I said, I want this on Nationwide and I'm interested in purchasing airtime on Nationwide. And he kind of like raised his eyebrow, like, "Oh, I see you." And
Word.
he said, "I see Mrs. Reynolds. You know, it's having Mrs. Reynolds. I see the entrepreneurial bug has bitten."
You do a very good confuse.
Oh.
Yeah, don't think I'm confused when I did that. That is him. Oh, so did you mean that the contracts were not signed before they were paid out? Don't think I'm confused.
And then he wears glasses, so he'll look over his glasses. Mrs. Reynolds.
Yeah, since you're on, I should give him just a random shout out. He has, in my opinion, the best interview I've ever heard locally from a local journalist or a local person. Just a weird random interview he did years ago. He interviewed Philip Paulwell. I guess he'd have to go in his archives to dig out that one up. I don't even know if I'll ever be able to find
That's
that.
his longtime friend, you know.
Yeah, well,
went
if
to
you listen to the
Excelsior
interview, you
together.
hear, they know each other from school. But that's probably one of the best interviews I've ever heard from a local media personality to a person. I guess because they knew each other, there's stuff there.
So there's
It's
rapport.
the first time I ever saw Philip Paul in a different light as a human being, because Cliff really humanized me in that interview. So there's a random point I remember from Cliff. Big up Cliff Hughes for that.
He's the best. That's why I've been there 6 years. I haven't felt the urge to leave because I feel the personal development has just been so great under his leadership. And he really has a way about doing that. And then now that I'm embarking on this new venture, I'm looking at him differently now as a businessman, because I've come to him for leadership advice on being in the newsroom and for, he's been able to nurture my talent and grow me to where I'm much more confident than when I first started a few years ago, when the callers were saying, "Who's this Belizean? Why is she commenting on Jamaican politics? And tell her go back to Belize," and all kind of foolishness.
Yeah. We're quietly racist already.
No,
They're not even quietly. Yeah.
Xenophobic.
Yeah, we are pretty xenophobic in Jamaica. Yeah, man.
And now they've come to accept me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
there
I
was-
see you as Jamaican. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I know you're from Belize, I still see you as
I didn't know
Jamaican.
she was from Belize. She talks very Jamaican.
Our cultures are very similar.
Yes.
Belize and
Yeah.
Jamaica, very, very similar. And our histories. But that's another conversation.
No, you can have it if you don't mind. I mean, we're not whenever ever pressed for time,
No,
because
it-
I'm so interested in that. I've never really, like for example, Belize, they speak English.
Yeah, Belize is the only country in Central America that's English speaking because we were colonized by the British, same as Jamaica. And the British got back in the day, lots of the public servants and police officers and teachers came from Jamaica.
Back and forth, yeah.
Back and forth is the same slave master. It's the
That's
same
right, that's right,
system,
yeah.
the same colonial laws, the same, a lot of the same structures. Even the food, we eat rice and beans. You guys call it rice and peas, but it's the
It
same
is called
thing.
rice and peas,
Yeah.
and you eat
It
rice
is
and
ca-
beans.
whatever. But it's exactly the same dish. It's the same,
You guys have
same meal.
breadfruit?
Yeah, breadfruit.
That's the British. Yeah.
We have, it's so, even the language we speak, Belizean Creole and Jamaican Patois or Jamaican Creole.
Very similar?
Very, very similar. I posted a video on my IG last week reading the Jamaican Patois, the official standardized version. It got a whole heap of comments.
Yeah, boy. What do you feel about that Patwa business?
I have strong opinion. I do think it should be
A language?
a language and declared so. I'm going to talk about it on What's on My Mind tomorrow, actually.
Well, this will almost definitely not drop before that. So if you want, you can
Oh,
say
I
it,
forgot.
yeah.
Don't use the time dates.
You can if you want. I mean,
I'm going to talk about that on What's on My Mind on Monday, November 11th.
There we go.
And it will be on my IG, so you can see that.
You said that our countries are very similar. Are we very similar business-wise, you find?
What do you mean specifically?
All right, so like you'd have seen how the business culture in Jamaica, I don't know if maybe you'd have known, the business culture in Jamaica has changed heavily over the last few years, especially with the stock market. If I could simplify it, I'd say that it was typical business as you think of business in Jamaica. Very small group of people understand it. The money's in a small circle and things happen. The circle grows, but very slowly. And then maybe over the last 10 years, the circle has started to grow a lot quicker. And a lot of that is from the junior stock exchange and the stock exchange. And then when the stock exchange and the junior stock exchange started, it was kind of frowned upon. You know, Jamaican people are. Anything new we're frowned on. And within the business circles, it's almost like, I'm listing people everywhere, but you cannot avoid a competitor that list because they now have a lot of money to do whatever they want with, right? And usually they're your competitor, but now them just have $100 million more. Them can cut prices for 6 months and flood the market and kill you because you'd have 100 million to lean on, right?
Yeah.
And so more and more people now have started to lean on
No,
it.
Jamaica is way, way, way advanced than Belize
But
in
that's
terms
good
of business,
because-
like light years ahead. But we're a much smaller country. Our land mass is bigger than Jamaica, but our population is just
Population
like
is small.
350,000 people.
Wow, that's just opportunity I'm hearing.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you just described Guyana.
Yeah. But they just found oil.
Yeah,
We have
again.
oil, but not as much as Guyana. Guyana's next to Venezuela. I
Ah,
mean,
yeah.
between Venezuela and Trinidad,
Yep,
which both
yeah.
have oil.
Yeah, Guyana
Belize
is-
has a smaller quantity of oil.
Does it help? Like, does it trickle down to the population? No.
A smaller quantity of. There was much hope when it
For
was
that?
discovered in 2005. I remember the big headline was oil. I went to press conference where they announced it, and literally 3 letters and an exclamation point was the headline: oil. And since then, it's just. I don't know that's really trickled down to the population because what had happened was like in Jamaica where they've been prospecting for decades and never found anything.
Worth noting,
Never,
finding, yeah.
minor things here and there. So when they did find oil, the agreement with the company was very, very beneficial to the company,
Company. It
and not to
usually
the
is.
country.
It usually is.
Because you need to give an incentive for them to keep looking. So since the prospects weren't that great, other people would argue otherwise that there were good prospects, but the agreement with the production sharing agreement was very beneficial to the company. And this was 2005. I remember 2008 where oil prices were.
We're flying.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is before that.
$100 a barrel.
A barrel, yes.
So we found oil right when the world was moving into these record high oil prices. And the country wasn't really getting
That much out of it.
anything out of it. Barely anything.
Ooh, that's
Barely
rough.
anything out of
Yeah.
it. Like $100 and something barrel of oil. And companies just profiting because they just found it at the right time. And the country, you're not getting much because the production sharing agreement was such that they get the lion's share of everything. So they ended up changing the law so that there was this windfall tax. And if oil rises above $70 a barrel, then the tax goes up. And if it goes above $90 a barrel, then the tax goes up. But by the time they passed the law, the prices had started going back down.
Oh, wow. So no real benefit.
So we ended up
too
with
late.
that. And then it wasn't a huge, it was commercial quantities. But from what I'm hearing now, and since I've been in Jamaica 10 years now, I haven't been following news back home as closely. What I'm hearing now, it's, I guess it's kind of running out. It's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they need to find new wells and stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, shout out to people like Rand mentioned
You know
the
I'm
other
going to
day.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, you can mention, you can
Nah,
say it.
it's cool, man. Go ahead.
No, people hear me talk all the time. You
What
should
did Ryan
talk.
say?
Please.
Yeah, Ryan really love this one. A big up 5 Sally on Twitter, customer shout out
Yeah.
every week. But yeah, he really liked that one because on Twitter he was talking about our situation in Guyana, about it trickling down to the population. So when I heard Randy mention it, I knew you were thinking about that, where the company will come in and they'll do the mining and all that, but the population will not see the benefit more than increased taxes,
Very
tax
rarely.
inflow. People in Guyana won't be getting up on mining oil and selling the barrels.
Yeah, very rarely.
I don't know, but Guyana's situation is different from Belize because they have do you hear how much oil they have?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
vast
It's
reserves.
like, I mean, after
vast.
a point, it was just silly because like they kept discovering it. I think I stopped paying attention at either the 11th or the 13th discovery. If you find one,
I
it's
remember
good.
some conversation we and you had about that.
Yeah,
Way
at
back.
11th, and they only have like 100,000 people.
There
No,
was small
Guyana has
population.
like 700,000.
Like a mill. They have.
Yeah.
I round it at a
And a
mill.
lot of them are informal, like
Yeah, but it's
people
just
in some weird areas.
if you they're at a point where the population is so small and they found so much oil that you can steal, mismanage, screw up, and there's still just so much money that some must go. But there's one factor that she mentioned, Kalilah mentioned, which is the same company. So like I asked, she said the British colonized Belize, so they have the same things. Like they have breadfruit for the same reason Jamaica has breadfruit. The British carried it here because they need to feed the slaves. It's the same oil company. Those oil companies find oil all over the world. They know how to deal with every country.
yeah.
So really and truly is just the European countries who don't mind for it even when they find it. They don't ruin their countries like that. And the Saudis, the Middle Eastern countries, who really we're thinking about Dubai and the countries in the United Arab Emirates. It's them alone who really make money. Everybody else
It's a
don't
big.
do it, yeah.
Who found oil in Ghana? Is BP? It's a big company. The one that found in Belize was a really small
one.
Yeah.
And they, oh, gosh.
And they were doing like some holistic meditation kind of thing, and they said like that led them to discovery. And
What? It's an Obeah file. I gotta look it
it's a
up.
really. I'm trying.
that
Oh gosh,
sounds very
why can't I
shady.
remember?
Yeah.
Why can't I remember the name of the company now? I should
I'll,
know this.
I'll look it up and put it in the show notes and send you. So you'll see it there for the Belizean oil fine. So it's not similar. I always think in terms of building it here, and then we're in the region we can go. We're in the region. And I consider Belize to be part of the region. It's in Central America, it's also in Caribbean.
But whatever they did worked because they struck oil when oil was way
Going
up
up.
there.
Yeah, we work for that
and after
company.
nobody had found commercial quantities in decades.
Yeah.
So maybe their system works.
Maybe they need to come to Jamaica, but with different set of rules, right? I wonder if it's the same guys who found oil in Jamaica. that would be quite the coincidence. All right, but I really like how you I don't know if it's deliberate on your part. I always assume it is, but you take all the things that you use in the different areas of your life, and I see them come out in the things that you put out. Because that quality is what you mentioned, consistency as one of the things that is always good in what you do, and it does bring the crowds. But also the quality of what you do, I think, is great, and that quality has led to you're just a trusted voice in the news. Yeah, you're literally a trusted voice.
Thank you.
And it's few. You don't have to explain it. I remember when I was working with a lab, and Kalilah was saying, there's this girl and she wants to do this interview. She knows, I think Kalilah would have known, either known you or known of you from before. Like, it makes sense. It's talking. I said, oh, you're the Kalilah Ray? Yeah, do it. It only makes sense. Because that's an easy way to get publicity, all digital also. I mean, now you're on the radio, so that's good. That I should tell you officially congrats for. And you say you bought you
mean the show,
buying the
taking
show.
stock. Yeah,
But putting the show also on
Radio.
nationwide. Yeah. How is that going to work though?
I mean,
Like, in my mind, well, I guess there isn't much in the show that's actually visual.
the
in terms of
visual
what's
helps,
needed.
but there is no dead air.
Yeah,
There's
true.
nothing that's only visual, that there's only like music underneath or so it moves. It works on radio. Just
like
take the
that.
audio from the show.
That's smart production.
That's very, very smart. Maybe I need to buy
There's
some ear from
like
Cliff Hughes.
no extra production cost to putting it on the radio. You just rip the audio from the video and
That's a second
give it
income
to
source.
radio.
How much you book? How much you book airtime? I can borrow Cliff Hughes. Well, yeah, maybe I can buy airtime
Well, I
in
have
the
a
night.
relationship with Cliff, so
Well, it's fine. I'll pay full price. I just want to know because you can throw the podcast
we can
on
talk
at night.
off air.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course. That's he's making money now, But I like that. So you tell us what's next? Because you mentioned Kalilah Ray Media.
Yeah.
Am I saying that
Yeah,
right?
Kalilah Ray Media.
I'm so weird anytime I say Ray now, Because
Why? The Ray is just for Reynolds.
Reynolds, exactly. In my mind, when I say Ray, oh God, I can tie myself up again. I have this thing in my mind that don't say the wrong last name. And I naturally say Kalilah Enriquez, and I also naturally say Kalilah Ray. I don't say Reynolds, I say Kalilah Ray because that's your username.
Because it was Kalilah E.
Khalil, yeah, that's true. Khalil E.
And then I changed, and that was another struggle. I was like, should I change it? Should I just keep my maiden name? People already know me as Kalilah Enriquez, and my social media is Kalilah E. I was like, I remember the day that I came back off vacation after we got married. Like after honeymoon, I'm back to work now. It's in January. I'm like, what do I say on the radio? Do I say Enriquez? Do I say Reynolds? Do I say Enriquez? I hadn't decided. I'm like, good morning. I'm Kalilah Reynolds. And for like the first week or so, because I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go on the radio and whatever comes out. And that's going to be it.
Is that where the Enriquez Reynolds came from? 'Cause that's a good
I
cover.
don't introduce myself as Enriquez Reynolds.
Oh.
Only as Kalilah Reynolds. But on social media, I keep the Enriquez because when people are searching on Google, you might type Kalilah Enriquez.
I get you.
So just in case you're searching on Google, it still comes up.
Do
But
you know
when
what
I introduce myself to people, I don't use Enriquez.
You know what you're saying is like a huge advertising thing. That's like people pay thousands to learn what you just said.
Yeah,
very
that's
naturally.
smart business.
to keep the online presence linked. You do
Yeah.
that, if you're doing it for more than a year, you can stop using it and it will still link to you. But that's what they call SM. I'm losing the term. It's a good
SEO,
SEO
search
move.
engine
Yeah,
optimization.
that literally is it for online. It's a good digital marketing move. You keep all of your presence in one go.
Yeah, that's the only reason I still see Enriquez on my YouTube channel and social media. But in person, I don't use the Enriquez anymore.
That's great.
And people
So-
have gotten used to it on the radio.
All right, so we hear about your family, your life, your business is the last thing I want you to press on more, as much as you're willing to tell. Like,
Kalilah Reynolds Media.
Yes.
Okay, so the vision I have for the company, wow, this could be a whole nother podcast.
There we go. There we
And
go.
We've
You probably
spoken
won't
about
be-
this as well.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
So I see content creation for digital specifically for digital as the way of doing things. And this is coming from somebody who's spent my entire career in traditional media. But I see all these opportunities for digital because people want to access their content on their phone, on their laptop, on whatever device they prefer, on their tablet. And people want to just watch stuff on YouTube and get the notification. They don't necessarily want to go pay extra for
That's true.
TVJ's One Spot Media or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true. No,
Nationwide's app is free, by the way.
It is free. It is free. You can get it on your phone, and that's also a good move there that they had the app. I thought it was unnecessary, but when you find in America having an app like that really works.
But video production cost is expensive. Video production is expensive. When I had the idea for taking stock, I wanted it to be a TV show. I said, this is a great idea for a TV show. And I pitched the idea to TVJ and CVM. And they're like, kind of lukewarm on the idea. And they told me, do the pilot. So I took my own money, spent like $200,000 to produce the pilot at the quality that I wanted the show to be. And so working out the maths, working out the numbers, I said, this can only work. And this is an important part of the story. I met with some independent television producers. So I met with Winford Williams on stage. I met with Zara Burton, 18 Degrees North. I met with Sadiqa Daram, the Sadiqa Daram show. She does entertainment. And they all have shows that are or have been on television. And I wanted to pick their brains. And I know these people in the industry, my friends too. Sadiqa and I work together at CVM. And I said, okay, so what are the challenges? What do I need to know about venturing into this space? And all three were very gracious, and we had long meetings, and they all three have different business models. So Zara rents studio space. Sadiqa has a small studio that it was a bar that she converted into a studio. And Winford has a big studio, a really nice studio. Winford's background is actually in sales. When I met with him, that came out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, his background is in production. It was sales. So he's very business-minded from the jump. And they gave me 3 different perspectives, very good advice on, how to proceed. And I asked all 3 the same question. I said, do you think I can do this without TV? And all 3 of them are kind of like, I think you need TV. Because the advertisers pay more for TV.
For TV, that's true.
And the production cost, you need to cover your production cost, or you need to partner with a TV station so that they will at least partly cover the production cost, or you could maybe even shoot it there at their station.
At their studio, which
at
cuts
their
the
studio,
costs,
which cuts
yeah.
the cost, but you might still have to pay, or you do some type of revenue share. And so I was gung-ho on the TV idea. I was like, okay, to make this work, I need to have it on TV, and then I can also put it on YouTube and perhaps make additional revenue off YouTube. But when the TV stations weren't really into it, like I said, I did my pilot, and then crickets, spent my $200,000 out of my pocket, which I didn't even know how I was going to pay for it at the time. But
Wow.
you know what I say, when you really want something, the universe conspires to make it happen.
I've heard it.
It's
Yeah.
like the money literally came right when I needed it. If it had come anytime sooner, I would have spent it on foolishness.
Yeah.
I spent it on foolishness. It came right when I needed the money for that show. And so that's how that happened. And then did the pilot, got some traction online. Lots of people were talking about it. There was buzz. but I never heard anything back from the stations. And I was calling them like, did you see the show? The show's out. You seen it? Sent you the link. They're like, oh, I haven't watched it yet or whatever. And weeks passed and nothing. So I said, let me start approaching the sponsors. And so what they say, and they were on board. As you guys came to the launch, I have 4 sponsors to start.
4 strong sponsors.
Yeah. And they were gung-ho. Crunched the numbers again. I'm like, okay, this can work. Even without TV, even without traditional media. And so I just went ahead and did it. But in coming to this process, I realized that other content creators out there have the same struggles that I do. You want to create quality content consistently, but how do you generate revenue? And then because like Sadiqa, for example, told me, she said that the advertisers don't want to spend on digital media. They'll spend the money, they'll spend the big money on traditional media, but they don't want to spend on digital. And so that really had cemented my mind that I needed TV. But when I started making my pitches and the advertisers were saying yes, and then there's another yes, and then another yes, I'm like, maybe she was wrong. Or maybe this was 2 years ago thinking, and not 2019 thinking. And they're coming on board now. And so I see other shows, like I met with Dottie Berry as well, more recently, because I like his show. He has a YouTube channel. He has, is it 100 or 200,000 subscribers?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. And his videos are regularly getting tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of views. I noticed he doesn't have any sponsors on it. But I know that he's making decent revenue from YouTube alone with that type of viewership. But I said, why aren't people sponsoring the show? Is it that he's not pitching to them? Nobody's approached him. What's going on? So I met with him. I wanted to talk the business side. So I'm like, what's going on? And they were saying that him and his business manager, they're saying that, well, the advertisers, I don't know if it's that thing with the entertainment industry, that they don't want to fund entertainment. I said, well, when last have you pitched? And they couldn't really answer me when last they'd pitched, because maybe the last time they pitched things have changed between then and now. So I started thinking about it and I said, okay, I'm coming up with the structure for my show. I see where sponsorship is willing to be there. I see where production cost is high. And I see another challenge being that us as content producers, we might not know the business end. Or even if you know it, you don't want to be bogged down doing both. Because I can tell you doing everything for my show is a lot of work. Having to be the producer, coming up with the content, writing the script, makeup. I can do everything. I can produce my show from top to bottom.
As in every role?
As in every role.
Wow.
I can shoot my show if I need to. I know this industry very, very, very well. And then also having to go out and sell the show.
Is also, And then you have to actually create the show, as in the content that the show is.
I can produce the show in my sleep. I can edit. I can film if I need to. I can do makeup. I can write the script. I can host the show. I can do all of that easily. But the business end, no. That's another kettle of fish. I've never run my own business before. And I find this challenge with a lot of other content creators too. So you can create the content, you can create great content, but but now you have to sell the show. And that's a different thing now. Now you're a marketer, you're a CEO, you have to be thinking differently about how are you going to sell the show? How much do I charge for ads? How do I negotiate these contracts? Who do I approach? You might be timid about approaching a certain sponsor. Who do I even call? There are many things.
Where to start?
Where do you even
for
start?
Creatives is a hell of a.
Where do you even start? And you have to take on this role by yourself while spending time to produce the content. And the content itself takes a lot of time to produce. That's a full-time job on its own, which is why in media houses you have your business manager and you have your news editor separate. So Cliff Hughes is executive producer and CEO, but he also has his business manager. He's not managing the business day to day. It's impossible to do both at the same time for a company of that size. It's too much work. But for us just starting, we have to do it all.
have to do both,
And even
yeah.
though, so I said early on, okay, I'm going to bring in some people in sales and pay them on a commission basis to get some sales for the show, try sell this show. But the 4 sponsors that I've had so far is me bring them in.
Oh,
The
wow.
salespeople haven't brought yet. And I don't think it has anything to do with their ability to sell. It's just that, especially for a new show, people want to talk to me
Yes.
because I'm the face behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
So even if I have to be the one to make the initial call, make the pitch and then have them follow up with it, then that's how it's going to work.
But that's still your time.
But it's still my time.
yeah.
I still have to make sure I have a hold on all the contracts, which I'm behind on, by the way. The show has, we're going into episode 3, and not everybody
Is on it. Yeah, I know that.
I'll not say too much, but because I've been spending so much time making sure the show gets done,
Yeah, the
the
business.
business
side.
end hasn't been as tight as I would want it to be and as it needs to be, which I need to really work on and just spend some extra hours doing that. But like I said, the bigger point that I was trying to make is that other content creators have this challenge too. And so I see Kalilah Reynolds Media in the future being able to help other people with this type of challenge. So you have a company, and whether it's on a salary basis or whatever, you buy out other people's shows, maybe. That might not be the model, but it's an idea. And you take care of the business end for these particular creators. And studio space is a challenge. Like I said, production cost is heavy. We could have a situation where we are able to have one studio and different sets in the studio, and we essentially share the production cost that way. Or I take care of, Kalilah Reynolds Media takes care of the production cost, and we find out some type of way to balance it. But that's where I see the company going, and that's how I see the company scaling as well, so that we're able to meet those challenges for other creators, build a space, and we're going to see bomb content coming out of Jamaica. And we already have some Jamaicans who are doing big things on YouTube, like the Dutty Berry. There's this girl who has like 500,000 subscribers. She has a hair channel on YouTube. She just does hair review products.
You know her name?
I'm trying to remember her name. Somebody recommended her, and I'm into hair stuff. So
We can see.
And the hair and makeup industry is huge, and they tend to mix up
hair and makeup, huge. So if we can have a studio space, or I could even build out like a really posh looking bathroom, so she can do her hair videos in there with great lighting. You know,
Yeah, I like that.
can have a green screen in one corner, and Barry can do his show.
Just the other day.
I have my taking stock set in another corner, and we use the same staff, because then when I was thinking, when I was coming up with the idea for the show too, I had different models in mind. So one was owning my own studio versus renting studio space. You own your own studio now. What am I going to do? I'm going to be paying light and water, AC bill, all these things to shoot one show a week. So the space just wastes for the rest of the time.
Yeah, that don't make sense. Yeah.
So 4 days out of 5 work days, or 6 days out of 7 in a week, the space is not being used, and the meter is still running on JPS.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That would be a waste.
Yeah,
So
man.
why not have a company where we do this for different people and different shows? And then we also take care of the marketing end, because that takes some of the uncertainty out of it. But people who are uncomfortable approaching sponsors, don't know how to negotiate sponsorship contracts. It's something I have to be teaching myself, which is not my forte. It's not what I want to be spending my time doing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be spending my time producing, taking stock, because that's where my passion lies. I want to be the evangelist for this industry and have somebody else deal with that stuff. But
business
for right
side.
now, I have to deal with it. And I think in another couple of years, maybe as soon as next year, Randy wants me to push it up and do it faster.
Well, tell the people what it is I'd like you to do fast, because the ideas are strong. I like them.
Yeah, this is where this company could be. This is what we could be doing. And I don't see anybody in that space right now.
Not yet.
And there's huge potential there.
Yeah. What's going
huge
to happen is that I
potential.
think you're going to do it, and then suddenly people are going to discover that, wow, this was possible all along. And then suddenly you'll see people start doing it, start suddenly there's so many things that will just start happening as a result of the fact that you have chosen to do something that was just obvious to you. Yeah. So I'm proud of you doing that. I really want you to. And I want you to push it up, but like I said, you're having the baby in February.
Yeah. So this one definitely has to wait till after the baby.
Yeah.
After my 2 babies, because taking stock is a baby too.
Yeah, that one is harder to deal with. Yeah, but I would say you can leave that one alone sometime, but you know how you're going in the middle of it. You almost can't. You think about it all the time.
Trust me. You have these nights where I just can't sleep. I just wake up in the middle of the night with an idea. Yeah. And then I can't fall back asleep because it's just like, I need to do it. It's that compelling. There's
a burning passion. I get that. I love that. I like it. I hope people can hear the same thing I hear. That's why I want you to push the ideas out, because I think good ideas deserve to go out into the world, and I think good ideas find their funding. You say you found the money when you just needed to get the very first pilot off, and you got the money just appeared. The same thing will keep happening. But I've been encouraging, and I'm really happy to see it, and I just want to see more. Yeah, we can have our IPO soon. I will laugh, but that's what should happen.
Who knows?
Right? That's what should happen.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, that really is true.
Because when I started thinking about it, my mind will run away, I'm like, I'm going to open a branch in Trinidad. Or we can open a branch in Belize.
I've done the research on that stuff. It's very, very cheap. We can talk about that off air. Yeah, it is very, very... since iCreate has opened a Trinidad branch.
Yeah? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very, very cheap to franchise out in those areas. It's not that iCreate has franchised out, but it's easy to do that, especially when you've already established it in one country. Within the Caribbean, going regional is very easy. It's also I asked about Belize. I think you're in a great state. I am impressed with what you're building and how you're building it, and you're building it in a new media space. You're living. You are. People look back on this hopefully and they'll go, "Oh yeah, great, yeah, this is really when she said what she's going to do." And now we're seeing it here on earnings season. First is where you heard it. We'll do the easiest stuff first. We always joke around afterwards and ask people simple stuff. I like that you guys have been, you say you and your husband have been investing for about 2 years now. So we can ask you the hard part. The taking stock host gets to tell us about her stock. Not what you have, none of your actual business, but we always ask the general questions about what you like. But I think we can put a twist on it this time. You said, what was it that night? You said you were going to have
2 years.
Yeah, because you have your daughter going to college in about a year and a half. 2 years. So if you were investing for your daughter, so the investment has to pay off
in 2 years.
Yeah. What are you picking? How many stocks are you giving?
I prepared for this question.
You did? Oh!
Because I listened to Tyrone's episode just before I came here.
That's smart. So you can't pick anything that Tyrone picked.
No. Okay. So I'm like, they're probably gonna ask me this. So
definitely.
Let me think about what are my picks. All right. So, and you're actually gonna get me to say, because people ask me this all the time and I don't answer. I always say, I always give the disclaimer: I'm not a licensed financial advisor.
Yep.
I don't want you to try to pick. Don't go pick because me say that's what you're picking.
Yeah.
All right. But one on the top of my list right now is JMMB. Yeah.
For 2 years?
This is not necessarily for 2 years. But I'm not going to answer the 2-year part of the question. Okay. I'm just going to answer what I prepared for.
Okay. I mean, I can say, and I'm not a licensed advisor either, but I can say for 2 years, JMMB is a great pick. It's for 2 years, yeah.
But all right, so JMMB I'm looking at because I really like what they're. First of all, they have that stake in Sagicor, which is great, and I really like the passion of Keith Duncan in how he's approaching small business space, which is going to be the engine of growth for Jamaica. It is already the engine of growth, but the small business space, it's where it's really gonna take off in the next couple of years. And they are really going after that space aggressively. And I can say that too because I am becoming a customer of JMMB for the same reason, for the small business incubator that they're launching. Hasn't even officially launched yet.
That's true.
For Kalilah Reynolds Media, I've been asking around, asking people on finance, Twitter, JA. Shout out to Mark Gale, because I met Mark at a PSOJ event that Keith Duncan, remember they did that whole small
when they were
business
meeting
thing.
the market,
meeting the
coming out there,
market and
yeah.
talking about small businesses. We're going to reach out to you and stuff. And that's where I first met Mark in person. And I heard him raise some concerns about, his struggles and getting his company off the ground and getting bank account for his business. I'm like, Mark, who did you end up going with? And he's like,
JMB?
yeah, and he strongly recommended them. And I went there, and their officer just really held my hand, still holding my hand. You need to do this, and that. And they have, I think that what they're offering is great service, and it's really needed in this space. And so it's a company that I believe in. I believe in the product. I said to my friends, you can buy companies that you use.
Yes, that strong recommendation. Always buy what you know. So
Buy company, like I'm a Fontana customer.
So you go to
I
Fontana,
love that they deliver to your house. You can WhatsApp your prescription. They have lots of great services, and they have products that I use. They have like the most diverse hair products for my type of hair. So I'm a fan of Fontana. So that was an easy stock pick for me.
So that's another pick also.
You could right
there.
already,
I like that.
I already make money.
You already own it. That's strong. Yeah, that's strong. It's your company.
Yeah, and it's because I believe in what the company does and what they're doing. And JMB, I see the vision for the company as well. I see where they're going, the focus on small business, to the point where I've become a client, or I'm becoming a client and a stock owner. So JMB is a pick for me. I see them doing big things, making moves in the industry. And the financial sector is strong.
Yes. And getting stronger with that buy that they're doing. Yeah.
And getting stronger. Oh, what was the other one? I prepared for this question. No, I can't remember.
You're gone too, because you gave us Fontana
yeah,
too. So JMB plus Fontana.
No, there was another one that I wanted to bring up. I know I can't remember it. But the lab, I see the lab doing big things, creative industry. Another thing that, I'm in this industry. So I see a lot of prospects for where the lab is going, reading about their regional push. Was it the lab that I had on my list? I should have written down the list,
Oh, you're driving. It's fine. Yeah, but I mean, 3 already, and it's three strong ones. I think I like them. I like the reasons he mentioned JMB there, and JMB. Well, actually, on the JMB episode, we spoke to
the incubator.
And but you're right, they're not launched yet, but they really are looking at that push. Small business really is the way
they're
forward.
partnering with the Branson Center. Trust me, like
they might even see me.
After I sat down with the man Vincent Ald is his name. Big up Vincent. I was like, thank you.
Like somebody actually showing like a path.
This is what I needed.
The business plan.
And I'm sure there are many, many, many other people out there who need the exact same thing to grow their business. Because I'm not trained in business. I studied journalism. I went to I never took a business class in my life. Never took POB, POA, none of that stuff.
Wow. And it's so surprising. You see the journey that you're going on. It might turn out to be something like you doing with taking stock. You might learn stuff in it. Because it's not hard stuff either. It's just... Nobody has really brought it to the masses. So you might find that bringing it to the masses might be something that you do. That might end up being another product line for you. Because people just don't think about...
Especially with how we're going with the SME movement in Jamaica.
A lot of business owners, they are... And it's not just in content creation. You might make soap. And you're passionate about making soap and high quality soap, but you don't know anything about running a business.
That's true. Yeah, I quietly help a lot of people with that, and that's usually it. I look for people who have a passion about the thing that they're doing, that true passion, but they might just not know the business side. And the business side, I'm always willing to help them.
And that's what's gonna make or break your product. You might have the best product out there, but if you don't have a solid business structure, it's going to fail.
That is 100% true.
Especially I've seen that happen so many times in media. Back in the day, magazines were the thing. Everybody wanted to do a magazine.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody had to have a magazine, and so that you can get free backstage passes to places and get your picture in the magazine. But you never think about how you're going to pay for the magazine, the advertising side of it, the business side of it. It's a different, and media is no different than any other industry.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. You really have it right. So I think you set for great things, and you gave 3 strong picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, with one accidental. That's how you know it's good. When it comes up naturally. Fontana, because you use the products, you get the thing that they have, and Fontana has a nice network of stores all over Jamaica. I think everybody lives close enough to get to at least one. Most people.
And then we had heard at the time that they were going to do Waterloo. So I'm like, come on now.
Oh yeah.
Waterloo Square.
Yeah. Which
Come on now.
I'm seeing as
That alone made it a buy for me.
a lot of people did that. Oh, well, so you'd have known that they're doing Waterloo. But they said it from the prospectus. They said it from the prospectus. Yeah. Which if you read, you'd have known. So like, the people who were excited about Waterloo Square are losing out because the gains from Waterloo Square is coming. People like you, Kalilah, already got because you got in from early, from before.
But he said, like I said, I had interviewed Kevin O'Brien Chang when they were doing the IPO.
And it was in the prospectus.
And he said that Waterloo Square was coming. I was like, wow, that's gonna be huge. And look when they open, right before Christmas season.
Yes, yeah. I'm very interested in
And
seeing
it's
what it
been-
looks like. Yeah.
Christmas is their best
And
time.
it looks like they stay crowded ever since. You know, Jamaican love new things.
Escalator.
Worse, no? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And they have like candy craze in there, so the kids want to come.
Really? I haven't been in there yet. You know?
Starbucks around
There's a Starbucks, there's a candy craze.
I haven't been in there yet, though.
So it's like a real Saturday outing for the family.
Yeah, it's almost like a little mini mall. Yeah. I really like that. I like where we're going as a country, and I like where all the elements of where we're going as a country are lining up together. Kalilah, you in good stead. I don't know if you want to tell people anything else. I usually have people rap and tell whatever it is they want, and their social media handles. Although you did that earlier, you can say it again.
I think we kind of said it, you know.
You said everything. We've squeezed the point to death.
Yeah.
So
just watch Taking Stock.
that's right.
which is right.
And share.
And share, yes.
Share the
it.
video
Yeah.
and leave a comment. So some people will DM me. I'm like, please copy and paste this message. I'll put it on the comment section.
Yeah, because that does help.
It helps with the
engagement.
metrics. It helps.
man.
It helps YouTube and Instagram push the video more. The more
Yeah,
engagement there is on it.
Watch it. If you can't write a comment, just hit the like button. Everything helps. Everything pushes the content forward. Really, really happy that you did this, Kalilah. Really happy to see it, and I hope to see it. And also, I should say this. This is a good point. The first lady that we've had on the podcast. So thank you.
Oh,
Yay!
Yeah.
That's another thing too. There's not many women in the space.
Yeah. Because
Not
the
many.
language pushes women away. That's why I know that women are interested, because for my classes, it's just recently I started getting more men coming to the classes. My classes are maybe 80% women. And it's not women who don't know things, women who know things, but there's nobody really telling me. And the people telling me, coming at me in a way that I don't even know. And then
Mansplaining.
A lot of mansplaining.
A lot of mansplaining.
And then they do it in a way where women don't feel comfortable. I've been told, so I can't speak for women, but they don't feel comfortable even saying that I don't understand. So it's like you almost make me feel bad to say I don't understand.
The thought down.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I hosted a Educom credit union had a discussion a couple weeks ago for their clients about investing and so on, a panel discussion. And I told the audience, because it was regular mom and pop people in the audience.
Yeah.
And I said, you guys, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask the question. There's no stupid question.
Yep.
No matter how basic it is.
Yep.
Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like everybody else around me know and I don't know, so I'm not gonna ask. Just ask the question, and we're able to get people to ask very basic questions.
Yeah.
So I started out by asking, who in the room knows what stocks are?
yeah. I always start
About
the same
3
way.
people raised their hands.
Yeah. I always start the same way. And when you ended, what was the reaction? People truly got it then?
They're starting to get it. I think there's much more needed.
Yeah, I'll give you a tip. And to anybody else who is listening, people, especially if people have classes, you want to simplify. I think here's one thing I've started to do. Allow them to ask anonymous questions. Because even if you tell Jamaicans, you don't have to worry, there's no stupid question. People hear, but you said that, but everybody I know if this question is stupid. Or the truth is, I might feel weird about my questions. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But you give them the opportunity to ask it anonymously, then they'll ask you, and then you'll get all the questions. And what people think is a stupid question very often is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
learned that in journalism too.
yeah.
Because journalists, you go to a press conference and you feel like you're supposed to know.
Yeah, you're supposed to ask the most
Nope, I'm
grandiose
going to ask
thing.
whatever it is I don't understand, I will ask it. And I will not feel embarrassed to ask.
And you shouldn't, because you know what the truth is. If you want to get around in business, business leaders especially, they're very tricky when they want to be tricky. They don't want to hide stuff. The only way to cut through that is to ask the plain, stupid question. That sounds good. What kind of profit are you expected to get from that? Then you'll see somebody start to trip up. Then you'll hear people say things like, shareholders shouldn't worry about the profit. They should worry about the benefit to Jamaica or foolishness.
Yes.
That's when you hear the foolishness coming out, when you ask the very plain, straight questions. Yeah, so don't knock it. You're on a good state, Kalilah. Thank you so very much for doing this.
Yeah, man,
thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for blessing the podcast.
Yeah, man.
as our first lady to come on and pushing other people. I don't know if you see it now, but you see the same thing. This was about Cliff Hughes and how he builds talent. The same thing I hear you saying in terms of how you're building with yourself, and even the things I get, because I look at what you do and I see how you're aligning all the ducks in a row and saying this is how you get out to people. And I see tonight, say if Kalilah doing this after it, so consistency, she's right. You see what she said is no, even if I don't want to take a break a week off, I can't take it. Kalilah said one of the good things you guys do is that you're out every week. And she's right, but you guys know how hard that is. Thank you, BAM Production Studios, the Jamaica Podcast Network. Big them up for that, because we need a lot of help with that. And in the same way that you mentioned also, I say the same thing. So I know business very well. I know I am pretty creative, but I also know the struggle in doing both. It is hell. So you can only do one fully or the other one fully. So you're in a great space with what you're doing. I'm sure you're gonna get a whole heap of calls from this when people asking to help sponsor your new effort in terms of space or whatever. Also, you're doing the right thing. Lots of people want to create. They don't have the space for it. They don't have the know-how. They don't have anything. And
connections.
That also, because you also have a lot of connections.
That has helped a lot. Because when I call up Proven Wealth and NCB and JMMB.
That's true.
And it was the quick yes. Because we already have a relationship.
That is 100% true. Imagine me just call out of the blue, call Barita, ask for sponsorship. Hi, I'm Randy. Hello. Hello.
Which is why they want to talk to me.
Exactly.
And my salespeople aren't getting anywhere.
Exactly.
At least not yet.
Exactly. Well, big up that. I love the effort, and thank you for coming on. Anytime you're ready, the doors are always open, like I say.
Cool.
So thank you very, very much. This has been Earnings Season. I'm Randy at RTRO on Twitter.
And I'm Danai at HNI on Twitter.
And that's Kalilah.
And I'm Kalilah. I was going to, but it's not my show.
It's not your show. It's fine. Go ahead. Give them it one day.
At Kalilah Ray, Kalilahrey.
Everywhere.
I
love that.
Especially YouTube.
Especially YouTube. Big up. Check out the show. Check the show notes. This has been Earnings Season. Thank you, guys.
All right.